Hello, lovely people. Thank you so much for coming today to my masterclass. I am super, super excited to have you here. Um, and I would love to know where you guys are from. What is one of the things that you really, really want to get out of today? If you just want to pop that in the chat for me, that would be fantastic. And I think what's also really great is that we have a small group today, which means that I can answer some questions one-on-one, which is obviously amazing for you guys. So yes, please drop in the chat anything that you are willing to share if you want to take any takeaways today. And while we are at it, I will just say, yeah, a big thank you for being here and thank you for letting me share everything that I can. I'm really excited about just sharing how you can be confident in transforming your interiors and how you can, once you've learned how to define your style, you'll be amazing at making those confident choices without too much of a stumble. So let's see. Yes. So learning my style and organizing my family. I love it. Okay. I love organization as well. So yes, as today, one of the biggest things is figuring out your personal style and how important it is just in your day-to-day life and learning how to implement it in everything so that you can create this harmonious space that is really exciting for people to be in. And then organizing family stuff. Absolutely. It's just so important that you have aesthetic storage and things like that, that not only you can feel happy about, but your kids will be really comfortable with helping you out with making that organization of your family life much more pleasing throughout the day. And then Leah, what have you said? Just an overview of how to start styling a home. Exactly, yes. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Just work through some of my foundational points of what you can achieve literally moving on from today. So yeah, super, super duper excited to start. I'm going to now share my screen. Ooh. Now, just bear with me in here. That one. Yep. Okay. One sec. Present in full screen. Go. Okay. Oh, I don't love having a blacked out background, but I don't know how to change that now, so that's okay. All right. So thank you so much. Welcome to Chaos to Cohesion. We are so excited to just get started and get moving on creating a space for you guys that is absolutely true to yourself. So a little bit about me. My name is Candice and I am the creative force behind Moss Interiors. I have had my Moss Interiors baby now for 8 years, the same age as my eldest daughter. And being an interior designer for over 18 years and have had, would you believe, 200 plus clients. When I was calculating that, I was actually like, that can't be right. That sounds like a lot. But yeah, if I work back through the archives, that's where we're at. So that's pretty wild. And so when I'm not an interior designer, I am juggling life as a mum of 2 kids and I am a wife. I have a cat, all the things. But basically, I'm a huge believer in the fact that everyone deserves a beautiful home that they can feel proud of, that they can be comfortable in, and that they can share with family and friends. And now that I've been in the industry for so long, I feel like I'm ready to start sharing. I've been holding gatekeeping for so long. I'm ready to start sharing all that I can with anyone who needs that approach in their lives. So I just want to tell you a little story first before I get onto that. And this is how it came out for me, is that for the first few years in my career, I was, just making spaces look good. That was it. That was just, I hadn't really figured out who I was as a person yet and hadn't really honed in on styling as what it really, really meant. And obviously I did studied interior design and knew all the techniques and all the theories and everything like that. But, I felt like it was missing something. And it wasn't until I got into leading interior design and styling for some major builders that I realized when we were getting to the stage of these home builders releasing these homes to the public for sale, that we were trying to tell them a story, that no one was coming into a home without there having a story underlining that home. So, and that's where I sort of forged this idea that everybody needs to be able to tell a story through the physical things that are in their home, and to be able to feel comfortable doing that and create conversations, create lasting relationships through all of that. So at the end of the day, if you can't walk into your home and feel ignited, and if you don't have that feeling, and if we don't think we need it, then we may as well just have white walls and grey sofas. So you want a home that's oh so rewarding for you and feels super inviting for your family and friends. So you're in the right place if you're feeling overwhelmed by your design choices. You want a step-by-step approach to your styling, and you're ready to create a home that feels like you. So let's just move on. Yes, as I've said, you want that safe haven, you want that oasis, you want to walk in and feel complete calm and have meaningful moments. But I absolutely get that not everyone is in the place where they can have an interior designer in their pocket. So this is why I'm here today, to share what I can so that you can do it in your own time, in your own way, and on your own terms. I get it. We can't all have the designer sitting there on the right-hand side. So my goal for you today is to walk away with the ability to transform your home into a stylish and cohesive design, to learn how to save money by prioritizing smart and impactful decisions. And let me move over here. And to, where are we? Understand how to create cost-effective resources and embrace your DIY creativity, I should say, and to create your own dream space that tells your story. And but most importantly, and this is where people freeze, is the confidence to do that in your own journey. So I've just got one person that's coming in. Hello, welcome. Okay.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm just going to pop you on mute, Sarah. Please jump in the chat, Sarah, if you'd like, and tell us where you're from and what your goal is for today. That would be amazing, and I'll keep going. There will be a recording, so you can watch back through that first few minutes if you need. Alrighty, moving on. All right, so there's a little quick activity that I want to do, and this is going to I guess set the pace for understanding your interior style. So what I want you to do, pop it in the chat or just on some notes, whatever you feel like. You need to think about your top 3 feelings. So what emotions do you want your space to evoke? Are you wanting it to feel inviting, calm, happy, energetic, like party town? Like, what is it that you want your space to feel like when you're in it, and also when your guests are in it? I know for me, probably my biggest feeling is calm. You know, you come home from school pickup and everything's chaotic and the kids want snacks and whatever the case may be, but you walk into your home and go, oh, okay, I'm home, thank goodness. But in the same sense, I want energizing. You know, so those are some pretty big feelings, and that's really the most important thing you need to understand first, is understanding how you want your home to feel. And what have we got here? Let me see, chat. No, that's okay, Sarah. Kitchen reno, excellent, how exciting. Okay, love it, Heather. Feelings of light, tranquil and flowing. Ooh, that sounds divine. I love that. All right, so pop that away. And now we need to list the must-haves. So 2 to 3 elements that you're absolutely need in your home. And what I mean by this is actual physical spaces, or, um, like a bold color, or you love wallpaper, so you must have some wallpaper, a cozy reading nook, somewhere to retreat, or an amazing playroom for the kids. So make sure that that's on your list when you're working through this. What are 2 or 3 big elements that are, must haves, need them in my life? And your biggest concern. So big concerns could be something like, for instance, the reasons why you're here. You're not confident in making decisions. You're struggling to make the right budget choices. You have no idea how to create a cohesive home. So just pinpoint one of your biggest, or 2 of your biggest concerns, so that you can focus on what that is when you're working through identifying your style. Let's just check the chat. Leah, calm, flowing, and inviting. Beautiful. Flowing. That's a common theme. I love it. Okay. Yeah. Can I just confirm with you guys? So I'm sharing my screen, correct? Everyone, that you can see that? Concerns are clutter and organizations, and functionality from Sarah. Excellent. Yeah. So having all of this in your pocket, in your mind, as things that you need to focus on, are really going to help you hone in on how to style and what style it is that you're looking for. All right, moving on. All right. So are you ready to go from chaos to cohesion in your home? Let's do it. So today you're going to be learning about style. So my 3-step style technique design formula, which is dream, define, and decide. How to nail your style every single time. And then we move on to mastering the art of layering. So textures, colors, and patterns, and how to put that all together. It's really super important in creating a really good vibe. And then how to elevate your space with budget-friendly hacks. So something we all love is knowing how we can splurge somewhere and save in the other. So hopefully those 3 elements are going to be really, really helpful for you today. Okay. All right. Dream without an image. Apologies for that. I don't know where that image has gone, but let's start with the dream, okay? So obviously everyone loves a bit of daydreaming. We all need to start somewhere, and why not start with a daydream? But just keep in mind that not all inspiration is created equal in this part. So make sure you do remain focused. So obviously you're all here. You've had a little bit of a think about what it is that you want out of this. And you may have started saving images, whether it's in Pinterest or on Instagram or whatever the case may be. And you've got a mountain of them. Let's just say, look, you might have 200 or 100 images. Now, the focus here, you really, really need to trim the fat. We really need to focus and hone in on those inspiration images that you've found. So what I need you to do from here is really, really, really buckle down and pick 5 to 10 images out of those inspiration images that you love, whether it's a whole room or whether it's just a vibe. Pick 10 images that speak to you. For example, I'm a mid-century modern girl with a hint of Mediterranean coastal, and I, have probably 8 photos in my inspiration that are all mid-century, but there's a couple in there that are bringing in that coastal vibe. And what you want to do with that is go, okay, like that is who I am as a person. I'm really, really drawn to that kind of style, but I also absolutely love the soft tones. So maybe I'm a mid-century modern design geek and love classic styles, but let's soften that with some of the softer tones of the coastal Mediterranean. So, for instance, you know, when we're looking for patterns, and that's how we do it. We're looking for patterns in our inspiration. So you're drawn to cozy textures, you're drawn to those clean lines, or are you drawn to the light and airy palettes? For instance, a cozy texture would be somewhere where you're drawn to, say, a farmhouse, coastal farmhouse style, where you've got lots of textures on your sofas, and there's layers upon layers of coziness and feelings of warmth and relaxation. Or you're drawn to a more industrial sort of modern style. So there's layer upon layer of marble and leather and fine linens and sculptural pieces. So you'll be able to start understanding that there is a pattern within the imagery that you've found. And I guess here as well, we need to make sure, and this is where we need to focus, that we don't aspire to be something that we're not. For instance, for example, you know, you've got 3 kids. Let's not be, you know, saving a whole bunch of images that have white sofas with light coloured floor rugs and a glass coffee table. It's a crime scene waiting to happen. Look, it might look beautiful on Instagram, but you still need to be realistic. So yeah, maintaining that is a great way of just staying focused. It's really important. Okay, next. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna move this out of the way again. Okay, now we're on to defining this style that you've created. So you've got your 10 images. Most of them you've got some kind of vibe there, and you're seeing it and you're thinking, yep, this is it. Now, what we want to actually do from those images is actually work out 3 to 5 words that are describing those. So, for example, you've got a cozy, neutral, timeless style aesthetic, or more like slightly on my side of things, we've got a bold, colourful, mid-century aesthetic. So just making sure that you are creating basically an ingredient list for your recipe. Think of it literally as a pasta dish. You've got your pasta, which is, I guess, the main source of carbohydrates, for instance. So that's your cozy. And then the sauce is your neutral elements, the textures and things like that. And then the timelessness is the cheese on top. You know, just like think about it in a really practical sense, so that you're not just looking at a whole bunch of images and going, okay, this is it. You know, that you've got to sort of put words to those images to really let them sort of sink in. And then look at those elements and just remember that you don't have to fit into a neat little box. No one is the same. No one's journey is the same. No one's story is the same. Just because we say farmhouse style doesn't mean that it has to be exactly farmhouse style. You can mix it with a little bit of an industrial edge, or you can mix it with a bit of a coastal edge. There are ways to incorporate 2 or 3 of your loves of style and do it cohesively. So maintain your personality and allow it to be fluid. And exactly as I said, this is not the time that we're copying our neighbours, you know, Hampton's look. We're not doing block episode 400 and whatever. This is you. So just stay true to yourself. And then we are going to decide. Yay. So we decide, but this is where everyone freezes. This is where people get stuck, because they haven't gone through the process prior to this. They haven't really honed in. They haven't really made those connections to the inspiration images. We've gone, oh, I love, and then, oh, but I love that rug and that rug and that rug and that rug from 5 different images, and you haven't actually gone through the process, the journey of figuring out in your own way why it is that you love that. So you have to make sure that you've got your ingredients and your recipe, and you trust the process and you trust your gut. Basically, I mean, I do this all the time. If I'm torn, if I'm stuck, get up, walk away, go and water the garden, go and do some yoga, do something to take your mind off it for a moment, come back to it and put them in front of you. And what speaks to you, what sparks joy, what makes your heart skip a beat. And if you can do that in a pretty quick succession, that's the one. Okay? And stick to it. Trust your gut. I mean, look, it's all about self-expression. It's all about creating space that feels authentic to who you are. So just authenticity is absolutely key. Don't overcomplicate it. As I said, walk away. Don't keep putting your mind in this place of I can't decide. Just leave it. Leave it. Take a breather. Come back to it later. I mean, look, and if all else fails, just hire a designer. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for you to learn how to do this in your own time, in your own space. All right, a real world example. Now I am going to share something with you. So this is from a client I met with late last year. She has been working through renovations for quite some time on her home. Has a very, very DIY savvy husband who also is halfway through a million jobs. So she was getting quite frustrated with the fact that everything was half finished. So what we did is we sat down together and we worked through a few things together based on inspiration. So we looked through Pinterest and we just pointed out a few different things. And once we had those 10 images and we'd honed in on the fact that, okay, Kate she loves vintage style. She loves that mid-century modern kind of feel. But living close to the beach, she wants a bit of a coastal element to it. She loves bold color. So, and all of those things spoke to her. That all spoke to her, and we were able to come up with her own modern vintage take on her own personal style. And now Kate has walked away feeling extremely comfortable and confident in the process of styling her own home. And so that was really a process of, for me, that was a really simple in-home consultation where I was there for 90 minutes, sent her through a mood board following that. And now Kate feels absolutely comfortable with what she's doing from here on out. Really, it just came down to her not understanding what her personal style was, but we worked through the dream, define and decide process. And she's able now to take those dreams and turn them into a reality. All right. Okay. All right, now we're moving on to mastering the art of layering. Okay, we're already almost 30 minutes in. Whew. Better make it snappy. So this is where your space really comes to life. It's multidimensional. It really creates something, creates that wow factor. Basically, it's like if you've ever walked into a room and you've thought, there's something about this place. It feels really cozy. It feels I don't know what it is. Chances are that the texture, the layering of all those textures is what's doing the heavy lifting. So put forward. All right. So yeah, basically cute little thing. Without layering your room is like toast without butter, dry, boring, and in desperate need of help. And then sprinkle a little bit of salt on top because salted butter is delicious. So why does it matter? It really is the butter and the salt on top of the base. It adds warmth. It adds interest. Nobody wants their home feeling like a showroom where you don't feel like you can touch anything. It's too perfect to touch. We want to be able to come in and feel completely at home in our own space, but also want our guests to feel that too. I was speaking to a client recently who's doing her kitchen, Sarah, and she is, we're in that process of finalizing finishes and fixtures and bench tops and things. And she's like, I'm just obsessed with touching stuff. And I'm like, me too. I mean, at the end of the day, you want, if you can create a reaction from your guests where they walk in and they go, oh, that bench top is stunning, and suddenly you've created a conversation. Oh, those handles, they feel so beautiful. Oh, look at the texture on them, or look at that color. That's why it matters. because we're creating a conversation where we're making other people feel comfortable in our home as well as ourselves. And how do we do that? So let me just talk you through the image on the right over here, as to how we approach this. Obviously, we've got a house with walls and a floor. And obviously, we start with the floor. Let's work our way from the bottom to the top. We've got beautiful wood floors. They feel beautiful as it is already, right? And then, but we're layering upon that. We're layering with a different finish in our window frames. We've got the stainless steel or the iron or the aluminium window frames. So again, we're layering hard on hard, but they're different finishes to soften that. You've got the texture of the curtains, and again, this is where we're bringing in that flow, that sense of calm. On top of that floor, of course, if we were to just put a dining table on top of the floor, we're going hard on hard, and we're starting to feel a little bit too practical. And we need to pull that back just a touch and bring in some more comfort, some more softness. So throwing in a really hard and heavy duty rug in between those two wooden features is going to soften that whole approach and immediately create warmth. And then on top of that, of course, you've got that beautiful array of greenery in that vase. And what we've got here is layer upon layer of hard and soft finishes and decor items, and the layers just keep piling on, and they don't feel over complicated. It doesn't feel heavy. It feels right. So that's when we talk about layers. Of course, we don't want to go over the top and clutter everything, but we want to make sure that we have a feeling of welcoming. And one other place that often gets overlooked and often has so much potential is the vertical surfaces. And there is so many easy ways that you can create that layering effect, create that warmth really quite economically. Wainscoting, VJ paneling, peel and stick wallpaper, paint, textured paint, adding beautiful pieces of artwork. That's all layering on what would be our basic 4-wall bedroom, 4-wall living room, 4-wall dining room. So there are so many amazing DIY options out there for that to create some amazing layering effects. So I'm passionate about it. It's super important. For the love of design, let's stop pretending the smooth leather couches are cozy and add a throw, some chunky knits and pillows stat. Yes, okay, so look, no one wants to be sitting on a cold or hot or sticky or squeaky leather sofa without all of the elements that we bring in to make it feel cozy. Now, of course, not everyone has a leather sofa, so it could be an extreme example, but that's where the example comes in, is that even if it's just a plain linen couch, throwing in those extra layers is what's going to make you want to dive in. It's going to make anyone want to dive into it. And color. So color is basically the hero. It's the mood setter. It's what makes the room sing. And color has the ability to transform space amazingly. Really simply, it's basically a superpower. So what we want to do with color is we want to always start with a neutral base. I mean, that's where we feel safe. So that's where we start, right? We start with a neutral base and we go from there. We add our pops of color, we add our pops of dimension. So there is what we like to call a 60-30-10 rule. So with the 60% is basically your main color. So this is where we put, say, a nice neutral white or a warm gray or a soft pink or something along those lines. We put that on most of our walls, and we might even incorporate that into some of our larger pieces of furniture. The 30% rule would be bringing in something a little bit bolder, something a little bit more exciting, something with a little bit of, vibe and personality coming through. And that could be that you bring in that bolder color choice on your sofa or your floor rug, or we have a room that has that amazing deeper, darker tone of color. And then the 10% rule, and this is where you just go wild, go for it. What makes you light up? What brings you joy? What makes your heart skip a beat? That 10% of, I don't care what you think, I'm doing it, throw it in. And that's going to make you, as for you personally, it's going to light you up every day when you see it. If it's something that absolutely brings you joy, but you're scared of doing it too much, that's where you pull your 10% in. And that could be in an amazing piece of art. It doesn't have to be anything permanent as well, that 10%. It can be a huge piece of brightly colored art. It could be an insanely patterned sofa. It could be a gorgeous, deep, dark mulberry marble coffee table, something that absolutely lights you up. That's where your 10% can come in. And then on the other hand, you could play with the tones in that 10% or even in that 30% and start color drenching. Now, this is one of those really exciting trends that I'm actually pretty in for at the moment, is color drenching. So what you do there with your color drenching, and what I mean by that as well. So one thing, color drenching is literally using the same color in different layers of tones in the same space, but it doesn't have to be a bold color. So it doesn't have to be a deep dark green or a bright blue or a hot pink. It can be very neutral as well. So it can be like a really soft, warm gray. And you can do that on everything and create a whole layer effect with that. So your walls might be the darkest gray of all, and then your trims might be, half strength of that gray. Then your sofa might be that half strength as well, and then the floor, and everything is layered upon layer. But it's a really, really interesting look once you put it all together. The ceilings, all the sorts of things, and they're all in this gray tone in different levels, can create an amazing feel. So that's something that's a little bit on the trend side, but something that you could really play with your interiors, or even with just a specific room, like a bedroom or something like that. All right. So let me just work through this one, and then I might just check the chat. So step 3, pattern. Okay, why does it matter? So pattern is, look, everyone's scared of pattern. I get it. It can be done so badly, and that's why I think we are scared of it. But I'm going to help you demystify that and work through how we can actually layer patterns and create a beautiful space with it. So patterns are essential, whether they're a lot or they're a little. They are essential in creating that layer in your space. So the first thing we need to understand is, how do you mix those patterns? So bring a large floral print in with a small geometric pattern, and it's all about balance. So what I mean by that is, a large floral print is quite organic, it's shapely, it's got beautiful movement to it. And then if we pair that with a beautiful fine geometric diamond shape pattern, or square, or even a fine stripe, then they're not competing with each other. They actually complement. And the way to do that is to stick to a color palette. So let's just, for instance, the large floral print is full of pink tones and green tones, and then neutral undertones. The striped cushion could have a beautiful pale pink stripe and then a neutral undertone. And there we've got a beautiful layer of pattern on pattern. We call it like pattern clash, but because they're in the same color palette, they absolutely sing and talk to each other. For example, in this imagery here, this one's quite an organic example. So what you also need to, I guess, remember is that patterns aren't just things that we physically see right in front of us, like a sofa or something like that. We can talk about pattern on artwork. We can talk about the pattern on the wall behind the application of the trim on the wall behind that. We can talk about the pattern on the floor rug, the pattern in the armchair there. So basically, with this one here, we've got this beautiful abstract organic piece of art with the tones of soft greys, whites, and blacks sitting behind that olive green sofa. Now, if you look carefully at that stripy chair, that's also got an olive green stripe with a neutral base. So what that's doing is we're talking to both the sofa and the artwork. We're also talking to the wall because we've got the warm grey on the wall with the rectangular trim. And therefore, none of these pieces here are competing with each other based on the fact that, one, they have a colour palette, and two, it's a hard geometric pattern against a soft pattern. So always keep in mind that you can pattern clash. You've just got to keep in mind the element of small versus large and a colour palette. All right, yes, and then putting it all together. So how do you bring all of these elements together in your room without feeling like a hot mess express? Okay, so start small. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do an entire room all at once, or don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do your entire kitchen all at once, your bathroom all at once. Start small. First of all, we've worked out our style, so we know the kind of colors we're drawn to, we know the kind of finishes, the kind of curves, and all those kinds of things that we're drawn to. Start small and work your way up. So for instance, you want to start with layering a pattern rug over a neutral floor. Obviously, we all have fairly neutral floors, but you want to bring in the texture, you want to bring in the pattern. A floor rug is a great way of bringing in pattern. It's not permanent. It doesn't feel overwhelming. So bring in the pattern with a floor rug, and then obviously you layer that with some scatter cushion. You layer that with your super simple sofa, and then the layering upon that becomes textural cushions and velvet cushions and a few patterns in there. And then you throw in a few elements of hard finishes for shine and for contrast. So that could be a brass floor lamp, or it could be a sculptural timber floor sculpture. It could be a marble decor piece for your coffee table. It's all about experimentation. And then let's just say, you're working on, say, hard finishes and fixtures for a kitchen redesign. Again, you're first of all, you're honing back in on your inspiration images, and you're picking out those things that sing to you. And sometimes you can work back from going, well, I absolutely have to have the handles that I see. And so those handles, which I absolutely adore, which is my client from I was just speaking about previously, couldn't find any other handles that they love. So we have to stick with these handles. And that may change the trajectory of everything else. So starting small and finding something that absolutely lights you up, and then work from there. And yeah, of course, remember that, all of this layering is a process. You always have a beautiful big base to start from, and you just work bit by bit, and you keep tweaking until it feels right for you. Okay, now this is moving into the next lesson. So I'm just going to accept my Zoom as being a little bit silly. See if I can pop back into the chat for a sec. Where is it? Hello, chat. Uh-huh. Yes, sorry. I went a little bit too far ahead then and we're back at, so Leah, you said my spot, family music spot. Love it. Love it. Yes, family music spots, really, that's great, because that's bringing everyone together in your home for something that you all enjoy, which is super, super nice. So definitely keep that as one of your top must-haves. Heather, one of your must-haves is clutter and organization. Absolutely. Yeah, it's such a big and important, plays such a big important role in family life, and definitely needs to be kept at top of mind. And there is, as I said before, so many beautiful ways of creating amazing organization in your home that can be super super aesthetic, but super, super practical too. So always keep them at top of mind. Sarah, you said functionality, so that would be based on your Kitchen redesign, absolutely. So functionality, of course, you want to be walking into your home and walking straight to your kitchen and going, I can't wait to cook. I'm so excited. And functionality is probably one of the biggest parts of wanting to cook in your kitchen. I mean, at the end of the day, you may have an old kitchen, but if it functions properly, it's actually quite a joy. So, creating amazing storage again, choosing the right kind of handles that are going to be easy to pull and, and all that kind of stuff, making sure you have an amazing bench top that has got a lot of space on it and is easy to clean up after. So, absolutely, always keep those at top of mind. All right, let's go back to screen sharing if it will let me. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to stop and reshare. All right. I had a feeling I would talk a lot longer than I thought I would. So I'll see if that works. Okay. One sec. Sorry, guys. How's everyone feeling so far with all of that? You're feeling like the information is okay? Is it too a lot to take in? Are you feeling a little bit more clarity so far? Let me know. I'll continue, and you can pop that in the chat, and I'll come back to it so I don't hold you guys up for too much longer today. Okay. So this one's always really exciting for everybody, I think. We're all pretty keen to make sure that we can save where we can, but we all do love spending a bit of money when we've got it. So splurge smart and save big, super, super important. And so splurging smart is key in timelessness and enjoying your space. So high impact items like sofas, dining tables, maybe bed frames and TV units, things like that are used a lot, that take the brunt of life, need to be thought about really, really strategically, and generally you will spend more money on those. At the end of the day, you don't want to be spending not much and ordering just whatever you see, and then the sofa collapsing in a year and you're having to buy another one, and therefore you've pretty much spent the same amount of money as you would have on the original sofa if you just bought the good quality one at the start. So it's kind of like buying a pair of shoes. You buy a crappy pair of shoes, you'll have to replace them next year. Whereas you buy a really good quality pair of leather boots, you'll have them for 10, 15 years, maybe even longer. So it's the same sort of process. And always, so invest wisely, basically, and always go timeless over trendy. There are a few little trends you can throw in here and there, but when you're splurging, timelessness always. Do not go for those 20, 25 TikTok trends or whatever when you're spending lots of money. And then save where it counts. So here I've said, decor, art and accessories. While some art can be an investment and you can spend a good amount of money on a beautiful investment piece, maybe it's a beautiful Australian artist or something like that is going to become an investor piece in years to come, absolutely spend the money on it if it makes your heart sing. Art is so personal and so subjective that sometimes you do, you can give yourself the grace to spend the money. But otherwise, you're filling a hallway with a few bits and pieces, you just need a space filler, then, this is where you can save. So decor, art, accessories. I mean, look, we all know how good the stores are becoming at all this sort of stuff. We've got, Kmart, Big W, Target, IKEA, what else is there? Even some of the $2 shops have got some pretty cool stuff. You've got to sift through, but it's amazing what you can find and what you can interweave back with some of your more splurgy items. And would you believe, I've collected a few pretty cool pieces in my time. I've got some amazing decor pieces. I've got a beautiful brass bowl that a designer piece. I spent $700 on it. And then he put a $5 vase next to it, and everyone goes, oh, that's a nice vase. What about my $700 decor piece, guys? So if you combine, like if you interweave it, no one's going to know. No, it's that no one's going to know. So knowing how to mix those two and not feeling like, oh, well, I just bought this from Kmart. It's okay. It's okay because you've also got some of those beautiful, even those beautiful family heirlooms or things that you've had forever that mean so much to you that are going to tell the story, and they're just the little glue that sort of pulls it all together. Um, there's affordable dupes everywhere, so just keep an eye out. I mean, I will be sharing a lot more of that in my on my Instagram as the time goes on. So yes, absolutely, don't be afraid to jump into Kmart if you need a bit of sticky glue to pull together some of the beautiful bits and pieces. All right. Yeah, as I said, a little bit of reinforcement. Your sofa, splurge, your throw pillows, save. I have a little story though. This morning I sent off a few decor selections for a client, and I did put in a couple of $200 cushions. Now, I also back that up by saying, but don't worry, because I've also thrown in a couple of IKEA cushions to hold and balance that out. So we've got these gorgeous cushions that I just I couldn't pass up. And I said, all right, yes, they're up there, but don't worry, we've got a $5 cushion in there just to balance this out. So again, don't be afraid to mix it up. I mean, there's some things that you really do need to step back and go, I better not. Like the $200 diptyque candles or whatever. They're beautiful, but as long as they once they're gone, they're gone. If it can't double as a lamp, then let's be real. Let's be real. All right, Get Thrifty was one of my favorites. I'm a DIYer at heart. I wish I had more time and more space. Um, but thrifting, secondhand stores, absolutely love it. Facebook Marketplace, estate sales, curbside. I have found some gems on the curbside. I'm such a creep when it comes to hard rubbish collection. I'm like, what's over there? Because you just never know what you might find, and all it might need is a bit of a sand and a refresh of paint or some new handles. Like, don't be afraid to embrace your creativity. It's one of those things for me, at least. I love getting out there and doing that as a cathartic exercise, as something to just switch off from daily life and go, all right, I'm going to get stuck into this bedside table. So don't don't rule it out. You never know what you might find. And usually when you're drawn to it, you'll know. I mean, you can walk into a thrift shop and see the most gorgeous armchair, and you'll know immediately that you have to have it, and you'll work out a way. YouTube tutorials all over the shop with how to reupholster, with how to repaint, with how to remove varnish and all that sort of stuff. So don't rule it out as a way of bringing in those layers. If we go back to that, bringing in those layers and that personality that is absolutely you. Painting is an easy win, and it can be done on so many surfaces and so many beautiful different. It can be done on vases. It can be done on photo frames, picture frames, mirrors, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, mix it up. Mix it up. Yeah, channel your inner Bob the Builder, people. A little sandpaper and paint. A YouTube tutorial can go a long, long way. All right, paint and texture. So, and what I love about this image here is that what I just mentioned before about painting vases and things. So, you can pick up the most gorgeous urns and the most gorgeous, like really, really huge ceramics from, I mean, if not from Kmart and stuff, which is quite cheap, but also from op shops. Grab like a sand spray paint or something like that, and you've turned it into a beautiful Mediterranean vase. It can be a pot for flowers. It could be anything. So don't just look at it for face value. Sometimes there's an amazing gem hidden under there when it comes to these op shop finds and upgrades. Really, you can create a look for so much less by doing those kinds of things. Now, another way to upgrade your home with some smart shopping ideas is curtain rugs and throws. So texture, coming back to that texture vibe. So simply changing the curtains from from a roller blind or from a vertical blind to a soft sheer, or just adding that sheer over the top, is going to create the most transformational experience in that room. It's going to elevate it like you wouldn't believe. And it's going to give you a really, really elegant experience. Or chucking on a beautiful textured throw onto your sofa with a few fresh cushions is going to give you the most amazing vibe on what might feel like a tired sofa. And all you have to do there is even just give your sofa a quick clean with the Bissell or the spot cleaner or whatever. And oversized cushions and throws. So scatter cushions, like go big or go home, is a good motto here. Whether it's decor for any space of your house, or cushions. Nothing irks me more than a tiny little cushion on a big couch that is in a little foam, like just a little foam insert. Plump it up, get a feather insert, get it really big and bold, and poof it up. And then minimum 50 by 50, sometimes 60 by 60. Like, the change in size and the change in what insert you put inside your cushion is going to make such a difference to that cushion alone, let alone the sofa that you're putting it on. Minor change, big impact. Other things that you can do for quick wins is swapping out your linen in your bedroom. It's looking tired. It's looking like it's been washed a fair too many times. Let that become the drop sheet for your painting, and get a beautiful new duvet cover with some texture on it. Throw on some new beautiful big 50 by 50 feather insert scatter cushions, and you have got yourself a new space already. It's like created a whole level of layering that again, transformational, big impact, little output. Let's see, I see some things in the chat. Let's have a look. Thank you. Great info. So much that I didn't know. Thanks, Leah. Providing clarity and focus. Sarah, thank you. Finding your style. Yes. That's where it all starts, finding your style. I have so many looks that I like, though I'm not sure how I'll choose. Yes. Well, we can always, it's a bit of a process. As I said, it's an experimental kind of process. It's a journey. Just keep coming back to that, listing out what jumps out at you, and it'll come. It will definitely come. Yes, need some sheer curtains. Yes, Heather, you need some sheer curtains. We love them everywhere that you can put them. All right, thank you guys. Now, here we are. Close down that for a sec, because now I'm seeing all sorts of things pop up. Okay, sorry. There we go. Okay, rule number 4, small touches, big impact. Now, there's so many amazing things that you can do, again, that don't require a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of money. It's things like lighting. So on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about boob lighting. The light that has a little nipple, or like the oyster lights, and they can be really easily replaced with a fitting, either another ceiling mount fitting or a beautiful pendant light fitting. And pendant lights, there are so many options out there that are really quite affordable, and you can just pop a little, you can get the electrician to come in and change them. And you've only spent a couple of $100, a few $100 with the electrician to change out some lights, and you've made a whole new space. Change out the hardware and handles, cabinetry for in your kitchen. On any of the furniture that you're not ready to replace, you can just simply change the handles, spend a couple of $100, and you've got a whole new look. Really, really easy stuff to do, and the options of handles out there are insane. I think, Sarah, I don't go back to handles, but you're going to need. There is just your most amazing amount of beautiful handles for kitchens. As I said, it's almost like that's where you want to choose first, because they're just so stunning. There's no more just like little C-shaped or D-shaped handles anymore. There's so much more. Greenery. This is huge, and I don't care. Like, I love live plants, but you know, it does. I also don't mind about fake. Like, whatever is right for you. Um, like, I hate the little gnats things that come in during certain times of the year. So sometimes I'm like, I wish I had fake plants and they weren't flying around everywhere. So whatever it is, but it's greenery. That's the important thing. Bringing in life to your space with greenery, with that element of texture, volume, curves, all the life. That is that again will make a huge impact for very, very little output on you. And other things that you can do. Oversized artwork is so much fun. A beautiful big piece of artwork in your dining room that makes a huge statement. And it doesn't have to be expensive. There's some amazing printed pieces, printed canvases and things out there that you can put on your wall and create a massive impact. It could be a really, really large sculptural clamshell on your dining table or on the kitchen bench. These things don't break the bank, but they make a huge difference. Um, yeah. So a few little things there, and this is, I guess, a little cheat sheet for you, and I hope that this all helps. Is some of the golden rules around your budget hacks and things like that. So splurge where it counts. Obviously, we're looking at investing in the bigger pieces like the sofa or the dining table, pieces that the family uses all day, every day, and gets a lot of work. So make sure that you invest in quality there, because quality matters in those positions. You don't want to be going and buying yourself a whole nother lounge and everything 2 years down the track and spending twice as much. And then thrift DIY and embrace the mixture of high-low styling, as I mentioned. The beautiful brass sculpture for $700 mixed with the $5 vase, or the $200 cushions with the $5 cushion. It's about finding balance. You can splurge on things that absolutely light you up, but the things that you need as practicality, you can sort of step back from those and go, okay, I'll just grab what I need that works, but isn't going to break the bank, and then upgrade all the bits and pieces, and use your paint and your textiles to make that big impact. So upgrade your lighting, upgrade your hardware, bring in the greenery, paint the room, grab some new throws and scatter cushions for your sofa. All those small things make a big, big difference. Chop the pillow. Give the pillow some air and then chop it. Chop in a pillow. Honestly, guys, yeah. A client last week where I chose her some new cushions. I went like this with her old cushion. She's like, oh my gosh, that changes everything. So chop a cushion. Learn how to chop. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on on Instagram of how to chop a cushion. All right. So I'm so grateful. Thank you. That is my 3 fundamentals, and I hope that you guys have taken away some clarity from all of that, and I hope I've taught you what you've come here to learn.